don't want to be on the camera no more, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I'm going to the store. And you know, I didn't see him till a month later. And I'm pregnant with your child.
Gianna, calm down, babe. It's okay. We're all here. We're all here.
Juliana, I'm here with you. I'm not gonna leave you. Okay?
Mrs. McGee narrates how the last 4 years of her life have been pure hell.
Okay, well, the last 4 years of my life with my daughter has been pure hell. I've had to pay for medical expenses for my daughter. My daughter was born with slight autism. That I had to struggle to take her to therapy sessions and everything. He left us homeless with my newborn child. And he just vanished and left us.
Mrs. McGee finishes her narration on a strong note and hopes the paternity test result will prove her case.
Because the dates don't add up. When I found out I was pregnant, me and him were messing around. We were still messing around. Even though he had moved on, while he's sitting up here making it seem like I was just out there, he was messing around too.
Mr. McGee says this is the reason for his doubt, however. Mrs. McGee was quick to counter it with this.
We were drinking and stuff, and she ended up falling asleep. Sitting on the edge of the bed, her phone ended up going off. So, pick it up. I'm going through the messages. I see a message in there from another guy talking about how's my baby, referring to Serenity. So that was like the first indication they think that somebody else is the father. Then I'm looking through pictures. She got naked pictures of showing other men genitalia. So she's supposed to be my wife, but this not me.
We both were committing adultery with each other. He was cheating on me, I was cheating on him. I told him it was a slight possibility he wasn't my child's father. I was honest with him, but that still don't change the fact, even after I had her, you married me. So if you had all these doubts, why did you marry me? Why you didn't request the DNA test before you married me?
Mr. McGee tries to defend himself. However, Mrs. McGee says this is what she wants. Plus, she reveals more juicy tales about their relationship.
She's not my responsibility.
She is your responsibility.
There's about 3 or 4 other
Your
guys
Honor.
that can be her father.
Your Honor.
I'll pay 25%, and then they could pay the other 75%.
Are you kidding me right now?
Excuse me.
This is why I want my divorce. This is why I want him to sign over his rights, and when his test come back, he is my child father. I want him to help me support the cost of that I had to deal with almost 5 years with my child. Don't make it seem like that I'm just all out here. When you was the one committing adultery too, did you not forget that I walked in on you in our home?
Mr. McGee keeps insisting he's not the father with this testimony.
She tell me that I'm possibly not the father.
Throughout our relationship, he cheated
Who
on me?
Who told you?
Her mother told me that I'm not the father.
Her mother told you you are not Serenity's father.
Yes.
Who is she to sit up here and tell you that you're not my child's father when last time I recalled it was me, you, and a van?
When Judge Lauren asks the other potential father, Mr. Coley, if he thinks he's the father, Mrs. McGee says this, but the judge corrects her.
Do you believe you're Serenity's biological father?
I say it's a slight chance that I am.
Slight.
I said it's a 1% chance.
Why 1%? How did you do that math?
Because I'm going to tell you how I did that math. Because me and him was intimate more than me and him was.
But you understand that it is not about the quantity. It only takes one time, one encounter.
You're right.
Okay.
Mr. McGee tries to tell the court he would step up if he's the child's father, but Mrs. McGee disputes it due to this experience.
Your Honor, if Serenity is mine, which I highly doubt, I have no problem taking care of it.
Excuse me? He won't even there to do the birth of my baby. You know, he left me my appendix in rupture while I was 4 months pregnant with my child. I almost lost my daughter. You know what he said to me? I'll be back. I'm going to the store. And you know, I didn't see him till a month later. And I'm pregnant with your child.
Mrs. McGee expresses how hurt she is after the DNA result is revealed.
Pertaining to 4-year-old Serenity McGee, and whether Mr. McGee or Mr. Coley is her biological father, it has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. McGee.
How you feel now? Bet you feel stupid now, don't you?
Miss McGee.
You missed all them years.
Ms. McGee, let's be respectful.
That's right, and this is, I want him and my mother, my own mother. Now, how you feel?
I feel that I owe you an apology.
Yep.
I will give you
Yep,
one.
but you
have to
can save it.
understand.
You can save it because I didn't have to suffer. She had to suffer.
Ms. Lawrence reveals how she feels about learning this huge secret after 28 years of her life and how it happened.
First off, I just want to say that I am definitely emotionally frustrated with her. She called me about 6 months ago, and when I answered the phone, she was hysterically crying, and of course, I didn't know what was going on. And I'm asking her, what's wrong, what's wrong? She's beating around the bush, telling me all these random stories. And then finally, she goes into saying that she met some random man on the bus and that he could possibly be my father.
One day, you were just sitting at home talking to your mother.
Talking to my mom, just a regular phone
And
call.
out of the blue, she says that someone else could be your father.
That someone else can be my father.
Ms. Simmons gives her testimony regarding how this paternity mystery came to be, but Ms. Lawrence cuts in.
I ran into Rudy on the bus one day on the way from school, and I'm like, I know him, from my past. I've never forgotten him. And I say, excuse me, what is your name? Is your name Rudolph? And he says, yes. I say, Rudolph Rockamore. He says, yes, it is. He asks me, who are you? And I look at him like this. I'm like, for real, really? And I'm like, I'm Yvette.
Look,
I'm
okay.
Yvette. Yes.
You better recognize,
Exactly.
huh?
We started talking for a second. He even passed up his bus stop. We exchanged phone numbers and just says, call me later. So we, conversated for a while, like, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. When did you come back to LA?
She conversated. I want to know what the conversation would happen when it got to the good part.
In the conversation with Rudolph, I told him it's a possibility that I may have your child.
Wow.
Ms. Simmons explains how she told the potential father about Ms. Lawrence and why she kept everything from her until now.
I thought I would never see him again, so I felt that there was no reason for me to bring this up to her.
I think her initially telling me from the beginning would have made it more, you know what I mean?
So you
now it's just...
knew, Miss Simmons, this man really may not be her father. You made that call on your own.
Actually, I wasn't even really sure because me and her dad had broken up. And when I went back home and got with her dad, I found out like I was almost 3 months pregnant.
But once you realized you were pregnant, you knew in your mind that you were not certain who your daughter's father was.
True.
Ms. Lawrence tells the court the nature of the relationship she had with her legal father.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Wherever he would go, I would go. My dad always made sure I had money in my pocket. Always the flyest. I mean, back in those days, I'm an 80s baby, so Elises, Filas,
Trust me, I was
LA
alive
Gears,
in the 80s too. I won't tell my age, but I remember trying to be fly as well.
Yeah,
so you had a good relationship.
Me and my dad had a we still do to this day. We have a really, really good relationship.
Ms. Lawrence says she has always needed a male figure in her life and questions why her mom kept this huge secret. And Ms. Simmons answers back.
Me not telling her was because I didn't want to hurt her, or I didn't want to hurt her.
You didn't think that it would hurt me more now than it would a long time ago?
I never thought I would run into him. I never thought I would see him again.
Ms. Lawrence asks Mr. Rockmore, the potential father, why he wants to know about her.
Why do you want to know if I'm your child or not?
Because I think it's important to know who are my kids. If I have kids.
It's been a really long time. Like, I can't fault you at all. I can't fault you for what's going on, but you can't push me on the swing no more. Like,
no, it's a lot of time lost.
Yeah, I can't be pushed on the swing. No more big wheels. What do you think
just get to know you and, try to spend some time with you. I can't take the place of, if you're my daughter, the guy that's been taking care of you, I can never take his place because he's been there.
Ms. Simmons then apologizes to her daughter regarding the situation.
For one, I want to apologize to my daughter. I never meant to hurt you or keep something from you as important as this. Like I said, I understand the relationship between you and your dad, and I didn't want to bring up old wounds. He wasn't around. I didn't know where he was.
You don't feel like that apology sincere?
Well, she's apologized multiple times already.
Tears keep pouring on both sides as the DNA test result is revealed.
When it comes to 29-year-old Shatika, Mr. Rockmore, you are her father.
Ms. Lockridge says Mr. Tidwell has no relationship with her son, despite naming him. But Mr. Tidwell says this is why.
Your Honor, Mr. Tidwell does not have a relationship with my son. The only time he's actually seen my son is when I've made it a convenience for him and brought him to him. That means traveling 4 hours on bus, driving 2 hours on the car to drive to him. He hasn't helped with diapers. He barely helped with any clothes, and it hurts. It's frustrating. He named my son King.
I think she's more wants me to be the dad than she really believes I'm the dad. She's obsessed with me, and she's done a lot of different things. I feel like I'm not the father. She's left town. She's left me with the baby for weeks.
It was not a week.
She hasn't communicated with me. She has other men around.
Mr. Tidwell says there was no relationship. However, Ms. Lockridge disagrees and gives her testimony.
We were on and off for 6 years. We were together for my understanding, how he led me to believe I was single, or I was with him in a committed relationship for at least a year. And then I was my side, my personal opinion. We were together for a year.
That's you.
We've been messing around. Okay, well, anyways, we've been messing around for 6 years. I did leave for a 2-year period because I had to get my life back on track.
You had another kid.
Mr. Tidwell shares how his doubt came to be with the court.
You said she's done some things that make you feel like you weren't the only person she was sleeping with at the time
I wasn't,
King
Your
was
Honor.
conceived. Tell the court.
She has another guy that she was sleeping with.
During the time that you were having sex with Ms. Lockridge, were you aware of anyone else she was involved with sexually?
Not personally, but we weren't.
There was nobody else.
We weren't
Snoop,
in a-
I'm not gonna drive. I'm not gonna ride the bus 4 hours.
We were not
take
in a
3
serious
buses to
relationship
come
or
sleep
no
with you
type
if I
of
got that in my
relationship
backyard,
like that.
though.
It was just
really
sex, and
Have
that
you
was
seen
it.
me though?
Ms. Lockridge defends herself against the allegations.
His brother was there. That's the sole purpose why I did not tell him I was pregnant. No, I couldn't tell him when your brother was there. No, I'm not going to fix it because I know how you react. This is how you react. I'm not fixing to have this reaction in front of your brother when I find out I'm finally pregnant. I finally get something from you. The only
See what I'm
thing
saying?
from
She's
you.
obsessed with me.
No,
she
I'm
wants
not.
something from
Bro,
me.
I got plenty of them.
So she wants me to be her baby's dad more than she's sure.
Ms. Lockridge and Mr. Tidwell go back and forth regarding the pregnancy saga.
Because I know for a fact that he's his father. He was the only
She
one
just
I was
said, Your Honor, I
sleeping-
finally
when we
got
were-
something from him.
I was happy that I was pregnant, so I'm not going to ruin that happiness by telling you in front of your brother that I'm pregnant with you when I don't know how you were going to react, because every time I bring anything to you, you react all negative and I get sideways. When we conceived my child, I told him I just had my period
That's
a week
a lie,
ago.
Your Honor.
He said, shut up, and we kept going at it for
Oh,
a couple hours.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Mr. Tidwell's mother, Ms. Harrington, sheds more light on the situation.
She is very obsessed with my son.
I am not obsessed. I was in love with him.
All she talks about is how much she wants to be with him and how she's got a prayer closet at home for him. One day he's going to be her husband. Well, you know, this is just obsession, really.
Ms. Lockridge provides an exhibit to back her claim that her child is Mr. Tidwell's. Plus, Mr. Tidwell and his mother keep disputing her claims.
The thing that catches me up is he looks like his side of the family.
He looks like an Ethiopian baby.
Really?
Yes, he does to me. He's from day one when I
Look at
first
that,
saw
though.
him.
Look at that
This
hairline.
is King.
That's King.
And the next photo is Mr. Tidwell as a baby.
Look at the ear marks, the ear tags. There's nobody else.
Miss Harrington,
Yes, Your Honor.
do you see a resemblance?
No.
The DNA test result is in, but Ms. Lockridge couldn't stop these tears.
When it comes to 10-month-old King Tidwell, Mr. Tidwell, you are not his father.
I'm sorry.
From the bottom of my broken heart, Wallace Tidwell, I'm sorry. And to your whole family, I apologize. I have no idea who his dad is at this point.
We knew that. We
I'm
know
sorry,
that.
but I didn't
It's
sleep.
okay. Tommy. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Ron, get her.
Oh, boy. I knew it. I knew it.
Judge Lauren then ends the case on this note.
We handle very serious issues in this courtroom. And I think what we all witnessed today is she truly believed that, Mr. Tidwell, you were her child's father. The truth, sometimes it breaks us down. And we need a minute to process it. And she needs a minute.
Yes.
Ms. Harris explains the nature of her relationship with Mr. Gerald Donaldson and what happened when she was pregnant.
From my understanding, we was dating. But then when I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl. And he told me that he didn't want to be with me. So I was basically alone during my pregnancy.
Ms. Harris narrates what happened afterward, while Mr. Gerald Donaldson admits to certain things regarding his involvement during Ms. Harris's pregnancy.
And you tell him you're pregnant, and he accepts that you're pregnant and it's my baby.
Well, he didn't believe I was pregnant.
Oh, he didn't even believe you were pregnant?
No.
You didn't believe she was pregnant, Mr. Donaldson?
Not at the beginning.
Why'd you feel like she was lying?
I felt like she was trying to ruin the relationship that I had.
Mrs. Gerald admits that her family accepted Ms. Harris's baby, but took a step back when the paternity issue came to light. Plus, she says this is where her doubt stems from.
Yes, we accept her, but when all of this started, we kind of just backed away from the whole situation because it was getting a little messy.
Mr. Murray shares how he got to know he could be a possible father to Ms. Harris's child.
One day I was on Facebook and I got a message from Jalen, and he told me that the baby could possibly be mine.
So you get a message from Mr. Donaldson?
Yeah.
Telling you that the baby could possibly be yours?
Yeah, I need to get a DNA test.
You sent him that message, Mr. Donaldson?
I don't recall. I'm not gonna say yes, I'm not gonna say no. I don't recall.
Ms. Harris explains how she got tangled with Mr. Murray and why she believes the baby is Mr. Gerald Donaldson's.
So you did sleep with Mr. Murray?
Yes.
While you were in the relationship with Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Okay, let me try to understand all this. Mr. Murray, what do you remember? She was in a relationship with Mr. Donaldson at the time, but you all ended up having a sexual encounter during that time?
Yes.
But you say you used protection. You say you did not. Okay, that's how we get a paternity issue.
Mr. Murray confesses that this happened, and that could lead to paternity doubt, and Judge Lauren chastises all the parties involved.
We had a situation December 14th.
What's a situation?
A threesome.
Oh, I didn't expect you to say that. Okay, so, wait, that's December. And you didn't use protection during that? I don't know what y'all out here doing. We know young people, and we know you're gonna be young, but this is a lot. This is too much. The threesome's bad enough. Unprotected is just outrageous, insane, unacceptable.
Mr. Murray's mother, Ms. Weaver, says the physical attributes of a child and the potential fathers are not enough to determine who the father is.
But Anaya looks just like Fred.
You believe Anaya looks like your grandchild, like your son's baby.
Right.
And that's a picture of Mr. Murray on the left and Anaya on the right. Why are you smiling like that, Mr. Donaldson?
Because that's a real, they do look alike. Like that, you can't even lie. They look alike.
But also submitted to the court was a baby picture of Mr. Donaldson.
It's hard to tell.
Right, it's definitely hard to tell.
Ms. Harris couldn't stop the tears after the first DNA test result is revealed.
I want to give you the opportunity. I know, honey.
Hold your head up, baby girl.
Yep.
It's gonna be okay.
When it comes to 18-month-old Anaya Harris, Mr. Gerald Donaldson, you are not the father.
Ms. Harris can't take it anymore and cries out for help once the second DNA test result is revealed.
Mr. Murray, you are not the father.
I can't sit here no more.
Miss Harris?
Hold on. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I got her.
It's
I
okay.
got her.
It's okay.
It's okay. We got you.
I don't want to be on the camera no more. No.
Okay.
Yeah.